As you guys know, we've been building on the 387 stroker. And this past week, we got a couple videos in, finally showing it firing up and getting out there and breaking it down. But just like any other break-in, you got to do a nut and bolt check just to make sure that everything's ready to go, because we're about to hit the dyno with this car and see how much actual horsepower it makes. If you're just now joining us here on the channel, this is a production 351 block from a junkyard, Windsor rods. We ended up installing some factory Fox body pistons, which these are the TRW original Ford pistons. And we bought a $300 cast steel crank made by Eagle, 3.85 stroke. Now, we've talked about that quite a bit here on the channel, so I'm not here to reiterate much of that. The purpose of this video is to start getting ready for the dyno and some of the nut and bolt checks that we got to do here on the car. In this footage, you'll see that we had a little bit of an issue when we were out there trying to break the car in. But we ended up finding out later in the video what we think is our starter. Now, we went through the timing and we went through the battery. We even put it on our charger. This is a fully charged battery. Considering the starter was super hot to even touch, definitely probably was the culprit. So in today's video, we're just gonna go ahead to get the black Turbo Fox ready for the dyno. We got a couple things that we have to actually change. Just like any other engine break-in, you gotta change the oil after you break the engine in. But we had an issue with a leaky intake gasket, didn't seal right. So it's all nice and sealed up now. We had to put another 6 or 7 quarts in there with a different filter, break it in like we were supposed to. That's part of putting a new engine and a new swap in your car. You go through some of these things, you got to get motivated and just get it done. So today we're going to end up swapping out the oil. I would really like to use the Brad pen with the zinc in it, considering it's an ethanol E85 pump gas car. We got this package from Jegs, as we'll be able to run those attachments through the wheel well here, so I won't have to worry about gauge getting damaged while I drive it. And of course, outside of changing the oil, we're going to change over to this starter. Pretty sure the armature is messed up in this starter, so we're just going to go ahead and swap it out. We do have another option, because we do have a couple mini starters back here on the shelf that we can go ahead and stick in there if we need to. Won't be a problem. We'll try this starter that I had found over here on the shelf first. So let me go ahead and get the car up in the air. We'll get underneath it, start unhooking some stuff. Shouldn't take too long. Put you on the other camera. We'll get busy. Start doing some work. So it definitely looks like we got a little bit of a leak here. Maybe it's coming from the drain. Doesn't look like it's rear main, which is good. That's a good sign there. We gotta get this starter out. It's already been disconnected from the battery. Looks like we got a little bit of oil starting over here. This probably needs to be some thread sealing in it. But we're gonna go ahead and get the oil out right now. Since this oil's got water in it, current break-in stuff. Yeah, break-in down there. But you can see how the water separates in the oil. You can definitely see the water in that oil. You can see the antifreeze right here at the end. Look at that. I caught this, it was just starting to mess up. So I ended up catching that really early. This is definitely one of the issues that I need to address on the black car after we dyno it and we put it back away for a few more months. These tubes all like to bend. Don't do like I did. I didn't do it right. I should have, when I put this brace on, I should have went ahead and welded up these tubes. And this is one of the things that the 8.8 axles suffer from, is these pins will come loose and this axle tube will actually twist. But this can be fixed. It's not that big of a deal. But this is for another video. Check the drive shaft while I'm here. Looks to be good. Check under here real quick. And we're gonna end up making a piece. That's another video that we're gonna do. We're gonna end up making a piece for the exhaust. Everything looks pretty good though. Let's get the oil out. Do the front sump first. Looks pretty good. I don't see any metals. Might have still have a little bit of water in it from. We'll go ahead and get this oil filter out in here because it's going to make a little bit of a mess. I'm going to keep this for later next to the other one, because we're going to end up cutting these open just to take a peek at them. So when you cut open some filters, it gives you a good idea of what your motor's doing inside. You can look through the filaments to see if there's any sort of chunks or anything that might look catastrophic. And put a little oil on there for sealing. Go ahead and stick our front fill plug back in. Yeah, probably need another copper gasket. Looks pretty good. Don't really see much of anything. I think we're pretty much done with the oil here. Take a look at our oil. Oil doesn't look bad at all. Nope. Go ahead and get this starter out. One of the worst bolts to get to in the factory K member is this top starter bolt. You're good to go. Smells funny too. Just a one-wire starter. Button back up in here. Not a problem. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get the car down, and we're gonna start on the last piece that we're gonna do. Fuel line and the gauge. Make it so it's not sitting in the wheel well for the most part, because I'm eventually gonna have it in a pod on the cowl panel, if you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, something that looks kind of like this with 3 pods. I'd like to be able to see my fuel pressure when we're actually driving or... It's gonna create a little bit of a mess, so we got an old antifreeze jug below us, which will basically just clean that out. I actually have the return set right here to the corner of the tank, so that it doesn't aerate any of the fuel on the sump. Go ahead and get this installed. Easy peasy. That's about all I need right there. At least we'll have a gauge to at the dyno. Let me hook the battery up real quick. Should be good to go here. Okay, let's check for leaks. Looks like we're pretty good here. We're gonna go ahead and cover that up soon with some padding and some heat wrap. Stressing, get your shit off the jack stands, and it's no different here. Whether we're wrenching on our white Turbo Fox body or setting up our black Turbo Fox body and soon to be coupe, staying motivated, writing the shit down, getting the stuff done, that's the important thing. We made a plan today. We changed out a starter, started up really good, switched out our break-in oil, and we even temporarily set up our fuel pressure gauge. And until we get the gauge set up on the cowl, it is what it is. But if you guys enjoy this sort of content, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below. Next video we're shooting tomorrow. This thing's heading to the dyno, where you guys are gonna find out how much NA horsepower this car actually makes on a 387 stroker motor. See you soon.